All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating blueprint. But this isn't for a building or a machine. It's for a whole new way of thinking, a new kind of innovator.
You know that feeling, don't you? Where you're deep in your work or your studies and you're an expert, but you kind of feel like you're just staring at the same four walls every single day. Everything feels a little bit siloed, a little too separated.
And here's the kicker. The biggest, messiest problems we're all facing today, things like climate change or global health, well, they just don't care about our neat little boxes. They spill over all the boundaries, and that means the way we think has to spill over too.
So if the problem is all these boxes, the solution has to be someone who can build bridges between them. And that brings us to the hero of our story today, the bridge builder.
Now, the official term for this kind of person is an interdisciplinarian. And what I love about this definition from our source material is that one word, pioneers, right? These aren't just people who know a little bit about a lot of things. No, they're like adventurers, actively exploring that wild, uncharted territory between the big, established fields of study.
So what exactly makes these pioneers tick? What's going on inside their heads that's so different? Let's take a look at their internal engine, that core mindset that really drives everything they do.
When you really boil it down, it comes down to these three things you see right here. It all starts with a relentless curiosity, it's paired with a super flexible and open mind, and it's topped off with a real willingness to take some chances. Let's break those down.
First up is curiosity. And we're not just talking about a casual interest. The source calls it insatiable. It's this deep, genuine hunger to ask why and what if. It's the fuel that literally propels them to peek over the fence of their own expertise and see what's happening next door.
And next, you have to be adaptable. You just can't be rigid and do this kind of work. You have to be willing to learn totally new languages. And I don't just mean French or Spanish. I mean the language of coding, or the language of biology, or art history. It's about embracing completely different ways of seeing the world, and that's absolutely crucial.
And this quote just nails the last piece of the mindset puzzle, taking risks. These pioneers, they get it. They know that the really game-changing ideas, the true innovations, they almost never happen in the safe, comfortable center of a field. They happen way out on the fringes, at those messy, chaotic, and exciting intersections where different worlds collide.
Okay, so that's the mindset. That's the internal engine. But a pioneer also needs the right set of tools, right? So now let's pop open their cognitive toolkit and see what skills are absolutely essential.
And really, it comes down to two big ones. First, you've got synthetic thinking, which is just a fancy way of saying they're amazing at connecting the dots. And second, effective communication, which is all about explaining those connections to everybody else.
This first one, synthetic thinking, is basically their superpower. And I love this weaving metaphor from the source. Think about it. A specialist might be an absolute master of a single color of thread, but the interdisciplinarian, they're the one who sees how all the different colors, blue, red, green, can be woven together to create this incredible, complex tapestry. They see the whole picture. But seeing that big picture isn't quite enough. You have to be able to share it with other people. And that's where communication is so key. Specialized jargon, as you can see here, just builds walls. The job of the interdisciplinarian is to be a translator, to break down that jargon into a shared language everyone can understand. That's how you foster real dialogue and build those bridges.
So they've got the mindset, they've got the tools. But innovation, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum, right? So the final piece of this whole puzzle is how they work with other people to make things happen. This is their approach to action. And this is really where it all comes together. It's this perfect blend of a collaborative spirit, some serious people skills fueled by empathy, and an underlying drive to make a real-world impact.
At their very core, these thinkers are team players. They just get it. They understand that no single person, no matter how brilliant, can have all the answers. They actually thrive on bringing different experts into the same room because they know that's the only way you can even begin to tackle a truly complicated problem.
And this right here is so important. Let's be honest, collaboration can be really hard. People see things differently. But the secret weapon here is empathy. By genuinely trying to walk a mile in the shoes of their colleagues from other fields, they build that trust and mutual respect that great teamwork absolutely depends on.
So you can kind of see how this becomes a real practical process. They start by using that empathy to build rapport. That trust then lets them integrate all these different viewpoints. And because it's all built on a foundation of respect, the whole team is empowered to finally tackle the big challenges head on. It's a really powerful cycle.
But why? Why do all this hard work? What's the ultimate driver behind it all? It's a deep, burning passion to make a real difference. They're not just connecting ideas for intellectual sport, they're doing it to solve some of our most pressing issues and create solutions that have a tangible, positive impact on all of us.
Okay, so we've walked through the entire blueprint of the interdisciplinarian, their mindset, their skills, their methods. So what about you? How can you start building a few of these bridges in your own life?
To wrap all this up, let's go back to that beautiful tapestry metaphor one last time. Knowledge isn't just a pile of separate scraps of fabric. It's one huge interconnected whole. And these thinkers, they are the vibrant, colorful threads that weave it all together, creating a much richer and more complete picture of our world.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. When you look at your own work, your own life, your own curiosities, what's the first thread you could start to weave differently? What's the first new connection you can make?